Thank you for joining Bethany Arts Community and Ossining Children's Center's collaborative art show, Lado a Lado, Side by Side. I'm Howard Milbert, the Executive Director of the Ossining Children's Center. This multimedia exhibit celebrates our diverse Ossining community. Bethany Arts and the Ossining Children's Center share a passionate belief that the arts are for everyone and that art is central to a well-rounded life. I want to thank the catalyst for this wonderful month-long exhibit, which we are excited to be celebrating tonight, Henry Wilt. Henry is on the board of the Bethany Arts community. He's a great believer in community partnerships. I remember the day Henry walked into our old center on South Highland Avenue. He took one look at our kids' artwork on the walls and immediately envisioned how it could be shared with the wider community. We can't thank Henry enough for his vision and support. I also want to thank Rochelle Udell, who integrated National Poetry Month into this art exhibit. Our children have entered a whole new world through exploring different poetic forms. You'll see some of them tonight. We are very grateful to our hosts at Bethany Arts Community, David Lyons, the founder of Bethany Arts, Abigail Lewis, the Executive Director, and Bonnie Bradley, Associate Director. Mounting this exhibition was no small task, and we appreciate the hours of hard work that have gone into making this happen. Thank you, David, Abby, and Bonnie. And next, our amazing OCC teaching staff. They have navigated the never-ending challenges of the pandemic to help our youngsters to develop their creative selves through art and poetry.
7 years old. This is my picture. I'm outside wet with the grass. The sun is shining. In the grass. My shoes is off. My hair is blue. I blow some bubbles. My legs and arms is orange. My hair is blue. It is a ponytail. I'm smiling so happy. The sun is so bright outside.
The sun is so bright. Can we see? Oh wow, look at that. What's your favorite part?
Me.
You? Okay. This is very lovely. Say bye.
Bye, YouTube.
Doritos Crunch make me happy.
Doritos, Cheetos, Tostitos, Doritos.
Doritos Crunch are the best.
Crunch Bunch, Doritos Crunch.
Doritos Crunch are simply just the best.
The best, the rest, they are the best.
Doritos the best Doritos they are.
3D, see me, Doritos are 3D.
Doritos Crunch are the best.
My name is Xavier, and I drew my picture on green because I just love green.
My name is Wesley, and my favorite color is pink, and I drew myself with Raoul.
And how did you draw yourself?
With a triangle head, because it reminds me of Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. They said I couldn't make the real one, so I did it with 2 eyes instead of 1.
And you said you drew yourself pink?
Yes,
Why pink? Why do we like pink?
because it reminds me of kindness. And my birthday is on Valentine's Day, so that's where I got my favorite color from. Bye.
So this is my picture. I'm outside wet with the grass. The sun is shining. I in the grass. My shoes is off. My hair is blue. I blow some bubbles. My legs and arms is orange. My hair is blue. It is a ponytail. I'm smiling so happy. The sun is so bright outside.
The sun is so bright. Can we see? Oh, wow. Look at that. What's your favorite part?
Me.
You? Okay. This is very lovely. Say bye.
Bye, YouTube.
Doritos Crunch make me happy.
Doritos, Cheetos, Tostitos, Doritos.
Doritos Crunch are the best.
Crunch Bunch, Doritos Crunch.
Doritos Crunch are simply just the best.
The best, the rest, they are the best.
Doritos the best Doritos they are.
3D, see me, Doritos are 3D.
Doritos Crunch are the best.
My name is Xavier, and I drew my picture on green because I just love green.
My name is Wesley, and the picture is pink, and I drew myself with Raoul.
And how did you draw yourself?
With a triangle head, because it reminds me of Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. They said I couldn't make the real one, so I did it with 2 eyes instead of 1.
And you said you drew yourself pink?
Yes,
Why pink? Why do we like pink?
because it reminds me of kindness. And my birthday is on Valentine's Day, so that's where I got my favorite color from. Bye.
So good. What we'd like to do for this next portion of the talk is take you through some of the pieces and tell you our stories, because it was such a unique experience for all of us. And before we take a closer look at these pieces, I'd just like to invite everybody to use the Q&A box below. If you have questions, there will be a Q&A session at the end, and also introduce everyone in the panel. So my name is Juan Pomales. If you don't know me, I'm the School Age Program Director here at the Ossining Children's Center. With me, we have the Assistant Executive Director, Claudia Wieger, our Executive Director, Howard Milbert, from Development, Ren Longno, Sean Kabari, and Hillary Clark, as well as Abby Lewis from Bethany Arts, and the Assistant Director at Bethany, Bonnie Bradley. So I'd really like to start with these 2 pieces for a number of reasons. You know, it's very simple. This is crayons on canvas, and we asked the children to look in a mirror and draw themselves. And as you can see, there's 2 really different approaches here, 2 really different ideas of self, but both very pure and very honest. And you have to kind of know these kids to know exactly how so. So Andrew, who's on the left here on the green backdrop there, Andrew's very literal. Andrew always follows your directions, you know, to the T. You know, when you sit with Andrew and you do homework with Andrew, You know, he'll stop you and he'll tell you, no, that's not how my teacher said to do it. We don't do it that way. So when he looked in the mirror, he drew himself exactly how he saw himself that day, with his Spider-Man mask, his blue shirt, and I am almost positive that's his lunchbox in his hand. And that's Andrew through and through. This is how he sees himself. You know, this is Andrew in personality and physicality. This is Andrew. And then Wesley is very animated. Wesley loves cartoons, watching cartoons and cartooning. Wesley makes stories. And Wesley's always very happy, as you can tell. You know, he's everybody's friend. You know, he's the most sought out child in the classroom. If you're not playing with Wesley, you know, something's wrong, because Wesley plays with everyone, right? Always smiling, always happy. Another reason I wanted to start with these particular set of pieces is because even though they all look so different, right? When we did them, there wasn't a single child who looked over their shoulder at their peers and said, mine is wrong. You know, this isn't right. Mine doesn't look like theirs. Or, you know, you didn't hear, I can't do that, when we asked them to draw themselves. And that's because children are fearless, and that's what makes them such great artists. They're not scared to make mistakes, and they're not influenced yet by culture and society. You know, the idea of this isn't art, this isn't right, I can't do this, isn't up there yet. So they don't make mistakes. They don't have an inner saboteur telling them this is bad, this isn't art. Which in and of itself is a crazy concept, because art is really subjective. You know, it's the expression of your creative skills, of your imagination. And even though we know that, you know, if I, for example, asked everyone on the panel and the attendees to take 5, draw themselves and share their screen, half of us fly into a panic, right? Like, I can't draw, I'm not an artist, I can't do this. And the other half log off. So, you know, like I said, they're fearless. You know, they're not afraid to make mistakes. I actually remember I was trying to do something similar with the older kids, the 6th and 7th graders. And the first things that they started saying, well, I can't draw hands. Well, I can't draw eyes. You know, I can't draw people. You know, all kinds of I can'ts and self-doubt, just immediate self-doubt, you know. And you're not going to find that with a kindergartner or a 3-year-old, right? You know, I think everyone's had like a child come up to them at some point and say, you know, look what I drew. And they say it's a pirate, and it's a rectangle with a circle. Maybe there's a line through it. They've got some blue squiggly lines at the bottom. It's supposed to be waves. And that is a pirate. And you can't tell that child that's not a pirate, right? You know, you can't tell Olivia that this isn't the beach house, and you can't tell Leo that this isn't a car, because, I mean, you can, but I wouldn't die on that hill. You know, you're going to lose. And that's what makes them such great artists. Like I said, they don't care. They're fearless. And with fearlessness, you know, you almost never fail. And adults are afraid to fail, you know. Because Picasso actually said it took 4 years to paint like Raphael and a lifetime to paint like a child. And that's so true. You know, this is why we at the Children's Center and at Bethany, we nurture art, and why we encourage children to love art and be what they want and do what they want, because that's the time to do it. You know, society and culture are gonna speak doubt into what they love and their dreams, and, you know, tell them you can't do things. So as friends, family, teachers, caretakers, it's really important that we're not active participants in that, that we give them all the support in the world and all the affirmation, because they're really good artists. They are very capable. They can do just about anything. So this is one of my favorite pieces hanging up in the gallery right now. This is a collaborative quilt project. You know, easily one of the hardest things about pulling this off was how do we help children understand diversity? You know, you can tell them what diversity is. You know, it's the state of being diverse. It's okay, what is that? What is diverse? So we did it this way. You know, we said this classroom is diverse because everyone in it is different. So what is difference? And then they all kind of shot off, you know, horses out the gate. Well, I'm a boy, I'm a girl. My skin is light, my skin is dark. You know, I speak Spanish, I speak English, my dad speaks French, I like glitter, you know, things like that. And we're all sitting here in this classroom together, you know, part of this classroom, part of this school, part of this community. So we should learn about each other and listen to each other and respect each other for those differences. And this quilt's, like I said, a collaborative effort that we did with our second graders. You know, we read a collection of African folktales, and the children created depictions of their favorite parts. So, you know, each felt square is a different part of a different fable. You know, Anansi the spider, why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears, why the sky is so far away. And we put these together. So this is really a celebration of diversity, culture, community, other cultures, other people, which we do a lot of at the center. One thing that wasn't in the presentation that's sitting at Bethany right now is our Lunar New Year Dragon Head. And so we do our Lunar New Year every year. We make our dragon, we have our parade and we celebrate. We do a little bit of everything. This was another collaborative effort by our third and fourth graders. And again, we asked them, they're a little older, you know, what is diversity? What is difference? So each face of the cube is a different child's interpretation of difference and why we need difference, right? Along with self-portraits. And children say profound things, you know, they have a better understanding of diversity and why we need it and why it's so important than we give them credit for. So this is unfortunately a 3D piece, but we're looking at just one side and you can see, you know, some of the things that they thought of on their own. We are all people, all born a different way. What we do and what we say. Be kind to everyone. Love is love. Don't judge people by their appearance. I mean, you know, when they really get going, they, you know, you can't stop them, and they say things and think things and feel things that you wouldn't expect from a child that young. And it was such, this project was particularly fun because it was a combination of the poetry and the art, and the poetry itself was particularly tricky because we kind of started off with prompts. You know, we helped them along. Let's get some prompts in and maybe we can go from there. And they did really well and they were nice pieces, but they hated it. It was like pulling teeth. So what we said was, you know what, let's pick your own topic. Write a poem about what you want together. And that's when we started getting the pencils flying. You know, I always forget that when you work with kids this age, you know, the older ones, they love nonsensical things. You know, like Shakespeare, cool, you know, maybe you can introduce them to it. You can read them a poem about weather. You can read them a poem about who knows what. But when you let them take it, own it, and when you let them be just, you know, when you let them create nonsense, that's when you get the best stuff, the pure stuff. This is the one from the video, and they loved this poem. You know, they took copies home. They really wanted, like, they wanted it in the exhibit some way physically. So they wrote it right here on the side of this blue box. And it was very special. It was very special to them to see it presented in an exhibit and, you know, to be able to take ownership of it like that. And that's really important as well. Was one of the things when we, you know, had this idea was we really want these kids to see themselves as artists. You know, because that in and of itself is such a unique experience that a lot of kids don't have. And, you know, like I said, we really want to nurture that. And what better way to do that than to debut, them as real professional artists. And we can go on. All of these kids, they all have such interesting ideas of diversity. What is diversity? These collages that our older kids did, again, they kind of struggled because, like I said, the older ones, they're a little more hesitant. They're not as fearless as the little ones. So they kind of need some help. Collages are great because the collages, there's really no rules, right? There's the lack of uniformity and the lack of limitations just makes this easier. They gravitate towards this, but they did so well. So the only rule they had was tell a story about diversity. Pick a subject, make a story about diversity. So I really want to just tell you guys about this one on the right. This is Giselle. She's 10 years old. She's in 5th grade. And she struggled with this initially. And it took her a minute. But she found a subject. She started with this manta ray right here in the middle. And she cut him out. And she said, oh, well, it kind of looks like it's, she went through that, she actually, she took several steps before she got to the final product. But she said, it looks like it's flying instead of swimming. So I said, okay, well, you want to, we can put it in the sky. It's your art. So, and then she found this, this National Geographics about pollution. And she saw this bag. So she put him in the bag. Right? And then she said, okay, now we need to find garbage. And she really went around the classroom and started looking for garbage. And she cut out this little cup right here, the bottom of the cup. She grabbed this cellophane. And she told the story about pollution, right? Here's this pollution down here, and here's this cleaner kind of vision of the bird in the sky. And as just to watch it come together was, it's why we do what we do. It's why we really encourage kids to do art, love art, and do it fearlessly. They also did these Picasso-inspired masks. These are actually portraits of themselves. They were kind of envisioning themselves through the eyes of Picasso, and we talked a little bit about who Picasso was and what kind of his style. We talked about Cubism, and this is again it's very them. It's nonsensical, like it's not perfect. It's not perfect, and it really gave them the opportunity to do art and be artists, their own way. And it's like I said, just they gravitate towards it because there's no rules. It's Picasso, right? And these are our final products. It's interesting, really, really interesting interpretations of self. They did an amazing job. So on that note, I want to thank you again for joining us and for letting me take you through these pieces. The exhibit is, all the pieces are on exhibit at Bethany for the entire month of April. And I'd like to turn it over to Hillary, our development coordinator, for Q&A.
Oh, sorry, so thank you so much, Juan. And I love hearing how all the kids think. And welcome to everyone. I'm going to start with a couple questions. If anyone has any, please feel free to type them at any time. We would love to hear from you. So our first question is going to go to Claudia. And what is it like doing art with younger kids, and how do you do it with the really little ones?
Hi, everyone. So we've seen some amazing artwork here by our big children and our little ones. So with the very, very young children, the 2s and the 3s and even the 4s, what we try to do is, to make them feel motivated. So for example, spring comes to mind because we are in the season of spring. And so what we might do is take some fresh flowers, some grass, and put it just in the middle of the table and give them different mediums to work with, whether it be paint or markers or crayons, stamp pads, and just sort of let the flowers become the live flowers that are on the table, become their motivation. Sometimes they even use them and we collage them onto their picture. So it becomes like a three-dimensional type of piece. You know, children also, young children, when they, just like us, when we see different colors, you know, what makes it your favorite color? Blue, yellow, green, you know, how does it make you feel? You know, we talk about, we read a book to them and talk about what colors do you see and what does that feel like inside of your heart or inside of your head? You know, does red make you happy? When we were working on our rainbow project, which was a collaborative project for, you know, the entire school, we asked the younger children, you know, what their favorite colors were and how it made them feel. And we have some quotes. And one of them, I believe, said something like, yellow makes me feel like I want to hug my mommy. So, you know, it's a very, you know, a very sweet, innocent, natural, you know, thing for them to say. So it's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. And we actually have a question from the audience, and this goes to Juan. This is from Merla and George, good friends. Do you have artists come and visit, or does the amazing staff do it all?
Sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute myself for a second. We have in the past invited specialists in, you know, but for the most part, yes, the staff are the artists. You know, they're most of them trained teachers and most of them just so creative. This is a really nice way to show everyone what we've been doing since we moved into the new building. But I really, really wish everyone could walk through that building and see a lot of the things that are on our walls that the kids do, you know, after school and you know, because a lot of it is the staff, and they're amazing and they're great. And, you know, I can tell them, you know, here's the assignment, here's your project, go. And know that I'm getting back this, you know.
Yeah, and the relationship between the staff and the children is really special. So thank you. We have another question. How the children reacted to Picasso when they first saw their work. This is for you. Juan.
I think that they, you know, again, like I said, they really enjoyed it because, you know, in general, abstract art is just easier for them. You know, I can, you know, my mistakes don't look like mistakes. But I got a lot of kind of, hey, what is this? You know, the first thing that I showed the 3rd and 4th graders was the piece, The Musicians, or the 3 musicians. I'm not sure right this second the actual name of the piece, but it's, you know, we looked at it, you know, and what I asked them to do was, you know, try to, you know, number one, make out what it is we're seeing. So they could definitely see, and I think actually it's in the slides. Let me see. They could definitely see that there were, right here, yeah, on the bottom, these guys. They could definitely see 3 people, you know, more or less. They were definitely perplexed, you know, like, what is this? I don't really see anything, which is normal. I mean, you can look at, I remember in college, I looked at La Guernica, and he was showing us all kinds of things, the professor, and I was like turning my head like this and turning it this way. And I said, oh, well, you know, I kind of see this. You know, I'm just blind, I'm wrong. You know, I'm not wrong. That's what I'm seeing. So it was a little bit of that, you know, they were seeing things and making things out, but also making things up. You know, they told me, one kid said this on the left, that this was a cigar. It's a clarinet. But yes, the general, you know, reception of Picasso is this is, you know, we like this because it's, you know, there's not rules here. There aren't any rules here. So I look forward to doing more things like this with them because they did like it.
Yeah, no, the Picasso, I remember as a kid seeing that stuff for the first time as well. It's very interesting. And so we have one more, and then we're going to wrap up. How did the kids feel about being in the exhibit? What was their reaction to this whole project?
Some of them scared. Yeah, you know, I got a lot of, you know, I had a kid, one of the masks, actually this one, he said, I want to make it, but don't put it in on the right, Richard. I'm going to make it, but don't put it in the exhibit. I said, okay, are you sure? Yeah, towards the end, he said, okay, we can put it in. But, you know, and then a lot of them were, you know, yes, absolutely, you know, they just kind of took off and did their own things. A little bit of both, It was definitely, it was, at the end, you know, ultimately it was, everyone, you know, loves the idea of it and they want to go see it and they're bugging their parents, you know, you got to take me on the Saturday because they close at 2 on the weekdays. So,
All right, and then we got another question from Merlin. This is for you, Juan. This goes back to Picasso. Did they find the dog in the musicians?
I had to point out the dog. I also had to be shown the dog myself. But the dog was, yes, we did see the dog.
Actually, we'll do one more and then we'll wrap up. How did the name Lado Lado come about? It's to you, Juan. Sorry, it's to you.
They're all for me. Well, you know, one thing we were talking about earlier was we've been doing this, you know, we're trying to make this happen for so long. I was sitting, you know, thinking to myself yesterday, I said, how did we even, why did we want to do this project about diversity? You know, why Lado Lado? It's because it's a representation of who we are and what we do, you know, who we service at the Ossining Children's Center. We have a lot of non-English speaking families, a lot of immigrant families, you know, Ossining in general, a very big immigrant population. So we wanted to, you know, play with the idea of, you know, being side by side in so many different ways, you know, culturally, linguistically, you know, Bethany and Ossining Children's Center side by side, right? Art and literature side by side. And so it actually, I think it was Rochelle, right, that actually named the exhibit. Yes, no? Yeah, okay. Rochelle Udell. And she did it with all of that in mind, you know, about being side by side. So that's how we got here.
Awesome. And then we actually have another question from Henry. This can go to Juan or Claudia too. Can we help the kids and their parents get to the exhibit? Or how are the kids? Yeah, how's that gonna work?
I don't know that it's a matter of not being able to go. It's you know, I made these or had these extended hours that Bethany, you know, Abby and Bonnie put together for us or offered us really generously for, you know, working families, because Bethany does close at 2, and that's, you know, that's the middle of the school day, that's the middle of the work day. So they have been offered or given the opportunity to go, and the ones who, you know, wanted to have signed up and have gone. I guess maybe we could do another another Saturday this month. I don't know.
Yeah, we know we can talk about it. And also too, just a reminder that the Bethany Arts Community is also on the call. And so it looks like we are done with questions. So I want to just thank everybody and thank you those who participated and asked questions. And now I'm going to turn it over to Claudia Weger, our Assistant Executive Director, for some closing remarks.
Hi, everyone. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we hope you will tune in to our next exciting event, Come Play With Us. This event will feature a project of Jessica Irons. Jessica is a member of the board of Bethany and the artistic director of Theater O. Jessica is guiding our children to devise their own mini plays. These will be showcased at our virtual spring fundraiser, so mark your calendars, May 20th at 6:30. That event will honor our teachers and staff, essential workers who have worked heroically with our families through this national crisis. So visit our website, ossiningchildrencenter.org, for more information about our event and other things happening at the Children's Center. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Bethany Arts community, and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.